Oh, I'm late. I'm late. Sorry. Okay. Let me try to find this. Uh-oh. I have terrible problems finding this thing. Oh, there it is. Is it working? Where am I? I am. Do you know why I was late? I couldn't get in the barn doors. They were stuck in a drift. I need to get this off. And got snow on my phone. Good luck. Okay, it's Monday. And what a Monday it's been. On both farms yesterday, we supercharged all of the barns. And the hay barn on Meredith has 17 hay bags in it. 4 of those are full bale hay bags. Because it means that if somebody can't get there, they've got water and they've got hay, and they've got warm, cozy place to stay in, and that's the best and safest for everybody, because we need to remember that the volunteers in Meredith have to travel there, and we are extremely grateful that Corey, she puts out food and water for the barn horses. There are 3 horses in the barn. There's Boone, Tenny, and Peanut. And the meals are left pre-prepared so that all they have to do is be hydrated and the water topped off. That is, of course, after Corey has got across the courtyard and the snow is deep. The wind is bitter, and so for that we are extremely, extremely appreciative, because that keeps, they could probably have done till a little bit later, but it very much takes the pressure off when Corey helps out in that manner. So that's very, very gratefully received. And on here, everybody had double hay bags at least, and I put out double water to make sure that everybody had access to hay and water. There was absolutely no way that anybody was going outside today. The snow that we had was just miserable. It was tiny, tiny snowflakes, and they were so wet that it was more like icy snowflakes, so they stung when they landed on you. It was horrible. Did I say it was miserable? It was miserable. Yeah, horrible and miserable. So there was no way that anybody was going outside, so the barn was left intact, and they should have enjoyed their downtime. So there. I'm going to do a quick muck out and give everybody a hot dinner, and then set them up again for the night. And Judy obviously didn't make it to work today because that would have been madness. Michelle, unfortunately, had to go to work. So she said that the roads were absolutely miserable. And of course we've got power lines down and telegraph poles down. So that's not much fun. That's in town, but not up here. We have been exceptionally lucky, touch wood, that we have not lost power. And I think that given the reports that were coming in, it was looking very, very likely that we would lose power. We have not at this precise moment in time, which is super. And I can tell you it was a bit of a hairy night because the wind was really snapping through those trees. We've got a lot of smaller branches that are down. No trees so far, which is very nice. And in very many ways we've been extremely fortunate. Apart from the great big blinking blanket of snow we've got, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many inches we've had, but there are many. And it's just one of those things. It's frozen water. It goes to water, then it goes to mud, and then it goes to, I don't know. So just the way it goes. So we have been extremely fortunate. I know that there are other areas that have not been as fortunate as us, but we shall get there. So there. Thinking about what else has been happening. Cloud is going to put out a survey. I presume it will be on the web page. And she's going to ask whether or not people would like mail chat going forward on Facebook, or if they would prefer on this camera. I personally, I don't go back and watch mail chat, if I'm very honest. So I couldn't tell you whether or not the quality is better on, excuse me a sec. That's absolutely stupid. That was just a message there to say that Corey and Darcy, they have done another nighttime check with the animals in Meredith, which is also greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. So I think that I couldn't tell you whether or not the quality, picture and sound quality is better on the camera, or whether or not it's better on the Facebook Live. I do know that the Facebook Live, it has a bit of a habit of not holding the connection, and some days are better than others. I do know that, I don't know what goes on in Carlene's house, but in Carlene's house it is an absolute blinking nightmare. And every time I lose connection, if it doesn't come back up, I have to restart again, but there's a 2-minute delay while it posts the previous, and then I lose all the questions. So there are
Okay, I don't know if anybody will get over here. I might sit here and talk to myself, actually. When I talk to myself, I normally get lots and lots of agreement, which is great. Good for the morale. And out there. Hello. I'm back again. Yes. Right. Okay. I don't know how many people will get over here. I'm back. I don't know where it fell off. So I think I was telling everybody that Cloud. Did I tell everybody about all the animals, how they're nice and safe, and thank you to everybody for on the farm, Meredith Farm, for looking after them. I'm not sure what else came up. And then I was discussing the fact, I'm going to repeat myself, okay? And then I was discussing the fact that Cloud is going to put a questionnaire up on the web page, and that she will ask whether or not people would prefer on everybody's sending the text, so it's interrupting. Sorry. If anybody would prefer, has a preference for Facebook, or if they have a preference for the camera. I've no idea why the camera went down. It was working. It did this yesterday as well. I've no idea what it is. It's beyond me and my capacity. So I'll just have to stick on here. So I think having a think about it, Facebook Live, if it works and we don't drop signal, actually is super, because we can wander around. If I knew that I could reliably keep the signal up, I could go for a wander down to the end of the barn. At this precise moment in time, I do know that the signal goes up, down and round about. So there's no point going for a wander anywhere with it. But when Janine and I are out, it is very definitely helpful to have mail chat on Facebook Live. So I don't know. And having never watched the end result after mail chat, I don't know which one's better for quality and continuity. I just know that from using Facebook, it can be a bit temperamental, but now the camera has proven that it can also be a bit temperamental. I mean, seriously, who would think it? And so it has been an exceptionally busy weekend. when you've got bad weather coming in, you prepare for it as best you possibly can. It's you always leave extra, and we managed to put out 3 days worth of hay on Meredith, just in case, because while we live on here, we'd always eventually get back down to the barn. On Meredith, it's a totally different thing. The barns are quite far apart, so to be having to lug hay all over the place is a bit of a misery, shall we say. And it catches the wind. And when you've got a blizzard situation coming in, firstly, you don't want to be driving in it. Secondly, you don't want to be walking through it with hay. So Nick yesterday loaded up the sheep barn in particular with 17 hay bags. And if that lot can get through 17 hay bags, we've got a really big problem with the hay supply. So that keeps everybody healthy and happy. He moved a trough inside, so they've got easy access to water. They also have their trough outside, although the thing is, there's been a tremendous amount of snow and those sheep would not make it to the trough happily. So everything has been well accommodated. This lot in here have actually been, you know, exceptionally well behaved. They've got food, they've got water, and they shouldn't be outside because it has been stinging snow. It's been really horrible, and the wind which has now dropped, fortunately, has been pretty horrific. I myself am terrified of getting hit in the head by a tree branch. It's just one of those things that I live in fear of, and probably exacerbated by a tree falling on the house. But I do live in fear of wandering along. And I used to dog walk in Scotland with someone, and she used to tell me that her husband was in absolute panic because we were way off through the woods dog walking. And he said, "You're going to get hit by a tree, you know, you're going to get hit by a tree." So now I'm like, yeah, probably I'm going to get hit by a tree. We do have lots of branches down, but it tends to be, at the moment, it tends to be the smaller branches that haven't taken too much down. I do have one lying on my fence at the moment, which I'll have to go and get off. And what's even worse is I still have my blinking guinea hens outside. I am absolutely beside myself. Last night, after I finished in the barn here, it was still daylight, and I thought, you know what, my last ditch attempt to get them, they were in the tree outside the coop, and I thought, you know what, last ditch attempt, I'm going to put all the chickens outside, put down scratch grains, and they'll go and eat the scratch grains. The guinea hens will see them on the ground eating, and let's hope that attracts them down. So the guinea hens did see them eating. They screeched at them, including the one guinea hen that is still in with the chicken flock. They screeched at them and sat in the tree and refused to come down. And the chicken said, "Right, enough of this nonsense, could we go inside please?" And I was like, yeah, I don't know why we're bothering, because this lot are just not for helping themselves. So I've left them in the tree, which always makes me feel terrible. But they are in the tree. They are still in the tree, and yes, they did screech all through the heavy snow and the heavy wind, but they're still in the stem tree branches. So I would presume, since they do know where the food is, and I've got a light at the entrance to the hutch, the chicken barn, I would have expected them to come down, but they're not. They're just refusing to play the game. I'm out of ideas. So, not the best case scenario for the noise or for the welfare of the guinea hens, but here we go. I am fortunate in that we are hoping on Saturday of this week that Ashley, who is a tremendous friend of mine and also Janine's and of the rescues, she is going to come down and help me with Moose. Moose still has a tremendous amount of matting. I'm not really very pleased with his progress, to be quite honest with you, and she is going to come down and cast her expert eye in all things animal over Moose, and we'll take it from there. I shall be wearing big gloves, and she can do the clippers, because I am not very good with clippers, so that will be super fun. And I'm hoping it just helps him towards you know, getting a bit better. We checked his teeth. Michelle, I held him yesterday and Michelle opened his mouth to check his teeth because I still feel he is exceptionally bony. He's very hippy and he came in like that, and while there is some improvement, it's not quite the level of improvement that I would like to have seen over this period of time. So then we have to start thinking about, you know, does he have anything else going on? So I want to get him cleaned up. I'll probably put him on a scale, and because I've found one, probably put him on a scale, and I think I'm going to rearrange the layout of the chicken stall. The rabbit stall. I've got chickens and guinea hens in my brain at the moment, and then we will take it from there and see what we can do for him. He's absolutely super. He's the nicest rabbit until you want to look at his teeth, actually, and then he's not very nice, but I don't blame him. And so let's see if we can just keep working with him. The whole I was saying to Michelle, I said, you know, I just started getting the aisleway back into order, because everybody was beginning to use the paddocks, and now I'm like, there's not going to be anybody in the paddocks for quite some time because the snow is now so deep again, and so now we're going to be back to having a really messy barn aisle, which is, it's probably just been a bit ridiculous because everybody's happy and healthy and warm, but when the barn aisle's normally blown out or swept out at night time, and you haven't been doing that because you don't want the dust going up this way, and then also if you blow it, it goes out into the entrance area, and the problem with that is then Justin comes along with a snowblower, and I just think it will pick up just all the hay detritus that is generated, and he'll be cursing me because he'll be pulling hay out of the snowblower, and I certainly don't want to break that thing. That much I can tell you. So we'll take it from there and we'll see. Now, and Carlene is fine. She is beautifully warm, and that has worked out well. The pellets were not delivered on Friday, which caused a bit of excitement on Saturday. And Justin said to me, you know, there's no pellets now. I was like, I know nothing about pellets. And I said, but this is a problem. So the executive decision was made that I would go and pick up 15 bags of pellets, which I did. And that's what we're existing on, because the delivery of the pellets was supposed to be coming through today. And as you can imagine, nobody wanted to come out in the conditions that we've just had today. So we're all set for pellets, and then let's hope that they should be delivered at the earliest point of tomorrow would be good, really good, really good. They didn't have the hardwood pellets that we normally use for the stoves. They had softwood pellets, and I said, right, so if they burn quicker, I said, do I need to get more of them? I said, because Carlene goes through 3 bags of pellets a day, and I said, do I need to be buying more of them? I said, because we do not want to run out. And they said, well, you've got to weigh it up against the fact that they burn hotter. And I was like, right, that means our house is not going to be sitting in the high 80s. She's going to break the 90 barrier. I said, oh, she'll be happy with that. That's great. So she's nice and cozy, so it's fine. Right, I'm going to go through these questions. So if you've got anything you would like to ask, please type it out. I've either got next COVID to a lesser degree, or I've got a stinky rotten cold. But he gave me painkillers, which are super duper strength, and I don't know what they were. I just took them, and it's sorted out my throat and my ears to a little degree. So I think I've got a window of opportunity to be moving forward. I'm absolutely freezing, and I am never cold. So I think that's all just part of it. And Nick is doing well. Even though Nick's had a really nasty dose of COVID, he still worked his 60 hours last week. So that was super, and I am terribly appreciative. I did Meredith and here on Saturday, and then yesterday I did here and Nick did Meredith, and I greatly appreciate that, because when you've been lugging hay bales, it's exhausting, because we actually use, as you'll notice in the arena here, we use whole bale hay nets, Now the hay bales at the moment are probably about £55, so it's actually quite a lot to get suspended horizontally, and you've got to fill them, you've got to move them round about. Everything is just a bit heavier and trickier in the snow. It's at the moment the wheelbarrow, well, this is before this snow, the surface was very slippy, so the wheelbarrow wasn't moving particularly easily. So when I'm transporting the water, it's going all over the place. It's just been a bit tricky, but not the end of the world, because we're all getting there. So Nick is doing well. He's still not 100% though. I have no idea what goes on with that camera, and I didn't touch it, so it's maybe just decided to give up because it's nasty weather. That's my professional opinion. Ooh, did you get a gazillion inches of snow? I think we got quite a lot. I don't think we got as much as you, but I think we got a lot more. Yeah, it's just miserable. I've given up counting. In fact, I'm going to ignore the snow for a little while and just say that white stuff over there, it's fine. Poor Justin, he was out earlier on and he just keeps going. That snowplow is heavy duty when it's this nasty snow. The light fluffy snow, it's you know, backwards, forwards, that's done, and normally you've got a wee bit of sunshine. This was just blinking miserable. So he's done a stellar job too. Oh, that was kind of you, Fernanda. Hello, Carol. No. Oh, did the plough driver have a problem? Yeah. The snow is it's nasty. It's that heavy. They call it, what is it, the heart attack maker or something like that. It's that really heavy, nasty, horrible to deal with snow. And in fact, coming out of my house, the snow is up to my knees at the moment, which is lovely. I should have just sort of like taken a sledge and slid down from the house, to be honest. But there is no point in shoveling it just now because I think it's still coming down. Bah humbug. So that's interesting, Robin. Could Moose have gut parasites keeping him thin? And that's something that I'm looking into as well. Also, I think my friend at the vet suggested papaya tablets are very useful. He came in, so it's very difficult. When he came in, if we were going to come away with any rabbit, it needed to be him because he was matted. He wasn't in very nice condition, to be honest with you, and he has improved. He's gaining weight, but not to the extent that I would like. And this is just purely being, you know, very careful with him. And I think it's good to get a second opinion and have somebody else come in and hold him while we extract all the bits that are still stuck to him. And it's not the best time of year to be fiddling with things, so that's what we're going to do. So we'll have a think about it. I've actually got a lady that through my friend Ashley, I've got a lady who breeds show rabbits, so I'm tapping everybody for information. It's terrible. It doesn't take a village in this place. It takes a blinking town. So we're away off speaking to everybody about She said, have you tried toppers? And I'm like, toppers of what? And I was like, yes, they do get toppers. They get marigold, they get peas, they get... and she said, have you tried black sunflower seeds? I said, no, but I do feed them to the chickens, so I might do that. The other thing that... and we checked his teeth, obviously, in case they were overly long. But the other thing that I have been quite surprised about was the fact that these rabbits do not actually eat any of the hay. And any research that I'd done was that their primary source of food intake was hay. I was like, right, not ours, because they don't touch it. And it's to the extent that I bought second cut for them, a lovely bale of second cut, which is the richer hay, the very green hay. I ended up giving it to the donkeys in their hay ball because it just wasn't going through. So Michelle suggested using a bale of alfalfa, so I'm going to try and grab a bale of that and see how that goes, and then Ashley and I will formulate a moving forward plan after we have trimmed it all up over the weekend. So there. The driveway has been ploughed 3 times. The snow is just coming down and it's so fine. It doesn't look like there's much landing, but there's a heck of a lot of it. So he ploughed the driveway, I think, during the night this morning, and then he did this afternoon. So he's actually doing a really good job. You should see the height of when you go down the driveway. The bits at the side are way up here. This is going to take forever to get defrosted, but hey, not the end of the world yet. The plough driver is a gentleman that Michelle knows. He does one of the farms she works at. Now, well, Carlene's fine, and you know, she'll just put the dogs out in the way that she normally puts the dogs out, so that will be just a-okay. Sizzle does not like the snow though. Excuse me, I have to eat chocolate egg. It's melting. Oh, it is actually. I love a melted chocolate egg. Anyway, oh no, I've got another one. So she's fine. Our dogs have been going in and out all day. And they've been going in and out all day because they go outside and then they turn around and come straight back in. Apart from Noodles. Noodles goes out, lies on his back, rolls around, and then he comes in looking like a Yeti. So he's desperately happy. Hilda. Dimitri's leg, I'm thinking it's probably most likely an abscess. He has been, when the snow comes off the roof of the arena, it actually makes a terrible whooshing noise, and it's been, you know, it's been happening for over not every day, but you know, over a good long period of time over the last month. He still gets a tremendous shock, and what he does is he plants himself down and he spins and he goes. So he's either misstepped or he's got an abscess. And when Arthur had his abscess, Dimitri had a slight abscess just around about when Arthur's was finishing off. It just seems to be something that we keep picking up. There's no tremendous heat to it, so I'm going to give it a day or two. He'll be on Banamine for pain relief. But I have to be very careful giving them pain relief, because sometimes what you can do is mask where the pain is, at which point they then overuse the leg or the foot, and they're actually better having an understanding of the limitations of that that sore that they have. So it's you have to use it very carefully, but he will be fine. Yes, she drinks that tea. and she enjoys it. I think she either has it in the morning or night time. I can't remember, but she has it at least once during the day. See, I'm looking for sort of like round about 40 degrees. 28 isn't going to help me with the melting problem, it's just going to make it really crusty and icy. So I'm hoping that we get a bit of warmer weather and nice sunshine, and then we start doing, Saturday and Sunday. That's what I'm looking for. 42 and 43. I need a good week of that, and that will help us on our way. Yeah, I think the problem with the snow is it's like ice crystals. And it's like sticky ice crystals, and it's forming a really very dense. I didn't think I was going to get into the barn through the main barn doors, because where it is up against the barn, when the sliders start going, it compacts, and then stops. So I'm only about that much in the barn. I could just squeeze myself through, and that was it. So. No, Moose has been out on the jobs every time I go out on a job. Carol takes him, or I take him, so he has been out on the jobs. He's absolutely super on the jobs. He's very relaxed. When you're pushing him, he gets up and he likes to look forward to see where he's going. I actually think he very much enjoys being out on the jobs. This is just a matter of precaution, you know. I always think you're better heading problems off before they become too large or uncomfortable to deal with. So this has just been very careful with them. Right, that's what I'm going to try is alfalfa hay. It's funny because I don't feed my chinchillas alfalfa because it's not particularly great for them, I was always told. So that's my next attempt. Somebody also said to me that if the rabbits hadn't been brought up eating hay, they would eat pellets as opposed to hay, and they definitely eat their pellets before they'll eat their hay. So I think I'm wondering if that's maybe the problem, that they're just not used to eating hay, and that they prefer the pellets, and they've got constant access to pellets, so that's good. Hello, Flower.
Hi.
Here's Nick. See, look, he's living. Where are you?
Hello.
COVID Nancy.
I think
Yes.
I'm just feeding the ducks.
Oh, lovely.
They're just having a little wander around.
They okay?
Yeah, they're happy, indulging in
Duckery.
literally, yeah.
Yep.
All ducking each other.
Rude.
Yeah.
Terrible thing with ducks. Yes, there he is. He's playing with his ducks again. He loves those ducks. I don't know if Michelle's retired. I don't think so. I don't know. We'd have to ask Michelle that question. Who would you like me to video playing in the snow? Oh my goodness! Oh dear. The Henny Penny board is only at 20% and March 1st is Sunday. Right, okay. Oh gosh, so it is because it's because it's a short month. Right, these things get away from me. Well, if anybody is able to help, and I do have more bricks from D to go on. If anybody is able to help, that would be very much greatly appreciated. The horned goats. We were discussing the horned goats last night, and it's ridiculous. You go into the Deagle house, that is after you've dug the door out, or chipped the ice out so you can get in. You open the door, you're hit with a waft of very warm air, and they're all lying down chewing the hay. And they look at you and they go, ah, sustenance. bring us our fresh water and hay. And you take that in, you give them a little scattering of grain, and then they're like, your job is done here, please close the door on the way out, it keeps the heat in. I'm like, okay, we're on it, don't you worry. So they are, I would suggest, pretty content with their life. From the goats that would not come into the barn, they have decided that this is the best thing in the whole wide world, which is great, and really actually what we need. Far better than the blinking guinea hens. So the horn goats are fine, but they are so funny because Michelle, she uses her remote starter in her car, and every time she goes down she throws treats over the fence for them, because when they hear that, so now when they hear the car starting, they're like, treats! So they all get out in their little line, they come all down the hill, and they stand there and they go meh, and they sort that out. So yeah, they're quite happy. They get treats at one end of the hill, and at the top of the hill they've got their warm and cozy environment. And I was just saying to Nick, I said, technically the goats shouldn't be living. The reason I had the heater on is because I had small chickens in there, and before they were amalgamated in with the full flock. I had small chickens in there and they still needed heat, so I thought I'll put the heater on, it was fine. Now the chickens aren't in there, I'm worried about turning off the heater because the goats now have become accustomed to having the heater on, and if I turn it off suddenly it might be a shock to their system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them get to the end of the cold season with their heater, and then I will turn it off, and next year they will acclimatise appropriately, because this heat in a goat barn is a piece of nonsense, quite frankly. So there, little stinkers. So the horned goats are quite happy. Yeah, it could also be Sterling, because Dimitri, and there's a degree of frustration going on. They normally get their wriggles outside. They chase each other. They've got the whole of the back part of the barn, all the way down to where the Purina storage container is. They can run back and forward. They can get up to nonsense, and they can escape each other. When we're limited because of the snow, everybody's on a far smaller area, at which point they all get a bit free and easy with their feet, their teeth, and their stinky attitudes towards each other. So Dimitri and Arthur have actually caused me the biggest amount of problem. They don't. If I bring the cows down, they chase Jemmy, and Elvis gets upset, and everything goes around in a big massive circle, because Arthur in particular does not like sharing the arena. When I had also a problem putting in the mini horses, which is why I've been taking the mini horses out at night and they're in a stall. The easiest thing would be if I was able to keep all of the animals in the arena. It's a fantastic setup, it's wind tight. You can put you can have everybody sleeping in there. The heat is generated by their body heat and breathing, and it keeps it in a really great environment. But because Arthur and Dimitri have been a bit of, been rather naughty, shall we say, it's not a comfortable place for Jemmy in particular, and there's no point taking the risk that anybody does actually get hurt. But because in the last few days we've had more access and space outside, I've had the cows come out their end of the barn, the donkeys go out the other end of the barn, and the minis go out the other end of the barn as well. So he could very well have been having a tangle with Sterling, but that's probably due to the fact that Arthur and Dimitri really were causing much problems with the whole herd. So yeah, herd dynamics are a bit off at the moment. Yeah, the ducks are so funny. I go out there with my wee water wheelbarrow and they come up to see what I'm doing, and I give them a wee fresh bucket and then they jump in it. It's lovely. They're very inquisitive. it's very difficult. We cannot put them out in their paddock at the moment, and of course we've got dogs left, right and centre, so this is not the preferred way to be, but it's what we're doing at this precise moment, and it's working just now, and they do love Nick. Definitely love Nick. It's quite hilarious. This is really funny. It's actually looking very dark outside, and this is a normal time, and it would be getting so light, but obviously we've got an overcast sky. That's what we don't need. Sounds like Nick is actually opening my door for me. Oh yeah, he's the only rabbit I take in jobs. I don't take her because she bit me in the finger once. She's in my bad books right now. I think Carleen and Judy are going down in the first week of March. I'm not sure of the exact date, but that's what's expected. Oh, my dogs, yeah, I can video them in the snow. Noodles. Noodles is just hilarious. Can I tell you, Noodles does not realise that he is the smallest dog in the house. And he when Nick goes to bed, he wanders off with his wee tail wagging. He and Nick, they wander off to bed. And then he doesn't get up till Nick gets up in the morning. The other dogs get up, but not Noodles. Noodles stays with Nick. And then he wanders around, so when Nick's making his coffee, he wanders back and forward, and he sits at the coffee machine while Nick's making the coffee. And then when he goes to the fridge, he wanders along with Nick. He's just like his constant shadow. It's hilarious. He's just like a big floof that's black and white. But he's the happiest wee boy. It's really very sweet. Although I'll tell you the funniest thing, he doesn't like going up the stairs to the house. So when Nick takes him out, when he comes back up, he's absolutely horrific. We've had times when we've had to carry him. He just seems to be terrified of the stairs. It's most bizarre. The goat camera, the big goats. Oh, which big goats? The horned goats? The big goats camera. The goats moving. Oh, hold on a sec. Moving about. Is that the big goats? Are they the goats up the hill? The horned goats? I don't move the cameras personally, and I know that what happened was Michelle doesn't like her front door being on the camera, understandably. So there was an agreement that the camera doesn't go past a certain angle to keep her privacy, because not only does she have her front door, it also then cuts into her porch, and she uses her porch quite a lot. Not her porch, her porch. It's a sort of porch area. It doesn't have a bit over it outside her house. So I think that there's a set limit on where the camera can go, but I know who would know about it, and it would be Kim because Kim or Joe, because they operate the cameras. Listen, nothing gets past the horned goats. If it's not the guinea hens that are telling you something's going on, it's the horned goats. It's hilarious. You're never alone in this farm, I'm telling you. Horned goats closer to the gate. Yeah, I think that might be the angle that takes in Michelle's house. So that might be what the problem is with that. I think we'll have to move all the animals round about again at some point. So let's revisit where everybody is in the spring. Because goodness knows where Janine is going to put her pig. Yes, that's why and it's just, you know, trying to keep everybody happy and everybody gets a good night's rest. There's no point if Delight and Sterling are going to be stressed overnight because the donkeys, you know, either don't let them into a hay bag or harass them. So I make sure everybody's happy and healthy, and so I've opened up another stall for the two minis, and they go and sleep in a stall at night time. and then they get put back out. So sometimes if they're not in the arena during the day, it's because they've gone out the back through the stall, and they do appear sometimes in Jemmy's stall, because they take a wander down there because they know that they get hay there in peace and quiet. So that's where everybody's wandering to. Arthur is the biggest lump. I mean, he really is a big lump, and he's actually very chillaxed. There are just signs of devilment with him at times. He just gets all up and humpty, and you know, he's a very young donkey still, so he's full of nonsense. So he gets up to nonsense and. Hi, Bella. I hope we're going to be seeing you soon. Oh, that's perfect. We're hoping that Bella might come over. I don't know the exact dates, Bella, but I'll let you know as soon as, because when she would come over, she would obviously be company for Sizzle. And, oh, another chocolate egg. Excuse me, it's melting. Oh, no. And she would work with Mandy. And if Willow was also here, she would work with Willow. So that would be super duper. I know. I can't believe it's the first week of March next week. Oh, it's this week. Actually, I was phoning my friend to pass on some information. And she didn't pick up, and I was like, okay, she must be busy. I said, I don't know if you'd mind just returning my call just when you've got a moment, thanks very much. And she said, I'll call you in 5 minutes, I'm at work. And I'm like, I didn't know she worked weekends. That's because today's Monday, obviously. You know, Noodles does make an appearance down the hill, because he comes down with Nick. And he's... He does wander down, and the funny thing is, he's been so long away. Larky's not a big fan of him. Could be the fact that he yaps all the time as well. Yeah. Well, I think what you have to... So, Michelle, I think Michelle's bedroom is on the gable end of the house. And I am presuming that there's... I'm not sure what the details are, but I'm presuming there's like an arrangement that we don't have the camera overlapping that. So, and so that's... I think, you know, the thing that's really funny... Excuse me, my chocolate eggs are melting. The thing that's really funny is, having lived on here for a couple of years now, I think, you totally forget about the cameras. And you forget about, you know, you just wonder about going about your daily business. And it wasn't until somebody drove on here and said, I don't want my car on camera. And I'm thinking, that's really peculiar. And they said, because I don't want people seeing my number plate. I was like, right. And it just never occurred to me. But then again, thinking about it, not within our community, but it does open up to a degree of information that's probably not immediately connected. So, you know, I think we've all become a bit lax, haven't we? We forget about these things in life because we all think we're part of, you know, we're part of this community. We all kind of sort of like know each other. We all just get on with it, and then you think, actually, yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing this in normal living places, but yeah, that's true. So I think these are some things that we kind of forget about when we take for granted, and then when somebody says, yes, but I don't want anybody knowing when my bedroom light's on and off, and you're, yeah, okay, good point. I have not heard anything about the white goats recently. And it was very peculiar because that gentleman actually wanted the horned goats as well, and then he disappeared. But he is friends with the person who owns Goats to Go, so Carlene's obviously in contact with them, but I'm not overly concerned because it was a beautiful setup for them. And anyway, Fernanda, just to let you know, I did have an incident with Sterling myself in the arena. And I was standing mucking, minding my own business, and he came running up, quite quietly I might add, from the other end of the arena, bit me in the bottom, turned and ran away. And I was like, what was that for? And I don't know whether or not, because he's under a year old, I don't know whether or not he was playing with me and he thought that if he bit me I would turn around and chase him. And it wasn't a hard I'm going to maim you bite. It was like he went beep, and then he ran away again, and I think he was probably seeing whether or not I would play with him. And I don't think there was any badness in it, but we've got to remember he's essentially a silly toddler, and Angus used to do it as well. Or maybe it's me, they'll just think I'm going to bite her in the bottom and see what she does. But he just out of nowhere came running over and bit me in the bottom, and I was like, well, that was pretty rude. And but I think he's playing, and I think he does it, I think he wants to, he does it to delight as well. And I think it's just a sort of an interaction thing with him. I'm about to slam a halter on him as well, and he and I, once the weather out the front and the driveway gets a bit less precarious, he and I will be walking up and down and doing a bit of lead training. That'll sort him. Everybody at Meredith is doing really well, apart from the fact Nick didn't tell me until later on yesterday evening that he let Enzo out, and Enzo, 90% of the time when Enzo escapes, he either goes and stands in the hayfield and eats the hay before it's cut, or he goes running into the barn and tries to get into the feed room, which both are reasonably predictable. The other 10% of the time when he gets out, he performs his very own rodeo rendition. He his legs are in the air, he's kicking, he's bucking, he's rearing, he's twisting in the air, and then he takes off at speed and you never know where he's going to go. And it's just, he's full of the joys of being Enzo and being super fantastic and very speedy. So yesterday he took off, and Nick got a video of him and Ted's standing there looking at him going, there he goes, idiot. And Enzo's like, watch me! And so he took off up the driveway up to the main house, and we were like, excellent, there he goes. I said, did you get him back? And he went, it took me 20 minutes to get him back. And I'm like, yeah. He said he must have been getting bored because their pasture is very limited at the moment because the snow is so high. And you've got to remember, he's a mini mule, and he doesn't really like standing in snow. So he was obviously thinking, listen, it's ploughed out there, I'm a way off down the driveway. So he took himself way off down the driveway, but then after 20 minutes he obviously got starving hungry after all that exertion, and he came back, and Nick put him in a stall, and he said, but I went in to put a rope on him to take him back down, and he said, and he wasn't very helpful. He's a bit of a monkey, is our Enzo. But he's another one that I'm about to slam a pack saddle on and say, let's go, Enzo, because he and I used to have an absolutely fantastic time out walking, and he's such a little flirt when he's out walking. He walks along and he's got a real swagger, and anybody that stops, he's like, hello. He's like, hello, ladies. He's terrible. And then he wanders off and does his thing. He does not like children because they like to cuddle him, and that's kind of like messing up his ears. So we try and avoid children because he looks like a teddy bear. He is not soft and cuddly like a teddy bear. He is Enzo. He is a sports car, okay? That's it. No messing with Enzo. So everybody else on Meredith is fine. Peanut's doing pretty well. She's on a soaked diet. She doesn't get anything from hay, so she's on feed. For go with this. There we go. Oops. So she's doing very well at the moment. Harley's doing beautifully. She's actually looking great right now, and Flower is getting on very nicely in the ice house herd. So we're all doing very well, which is nice. I know there are cameras everywhere in public, and I think that's why some people are very sensitive about it. And you know, you kind of forget ours are on the public ones, you know, they're not on for general release. Ours are on general release. I think that's probably the problem more than anything, because anybody can watch them. Sterling, because he loves causing trouble. I love that wee horse. I think he's hilarious. I don't know if anybody's actually seen him on camera. What he does with Delight sometimes is he picks up a few strands of her tail hair and he puts them in his mouth, and he walks around behind her carrying bits of her tail in his mouth. And it's like elephants, when the elephant behind links its trunk with the tail of the elephant in front. He's very funny. He's called Enzo Ferrari because he's super speedy with a tremendous kick, and there Larky is going on the plane with Carleen, and I think since Judy will be going, she can video that. Oh, Judy is well experienced in doing this, so she's the best person to be transporting Carleen anywhere. I will tell Carleen. You can send her an email or text. She would love that. Oh my gosh, am I missing things? Okay, nighty night everyone, and I will see you soon. Thank you for joining me.